If you haven't already, Activity 3.5 was our reading of terrible things. You folks practiced reading a powerful passage, read it aloud, a dramatic interpretation. 3.6 is what we did yesterday. 3.6 actually was all that vocabulary that you were copying down and the idea of euphemisms. So how was learning new diction? How was having the opportunity to speak aloud, practice an interpretation, preparing you for a book discussion? And when you're ready to move to the back of the bookmarks for the cataloging, you can take a look at the class bookmark or just listen to me if you can't see it from where you're at. Activity 3.5 only practiced the first concept of effective oral reading, reading aloud. 3.6 practiced 4 out of those 10 concepts. We took a look at Concept 2, Concept 4, Concept 7, which was communicating with group members or an audience, and Concept 8, using proper diction, proper language in discussion. So some of that new diction that you learned about yesterday, you might be pulling into your final group presentation that you host. When your bookmark's done, go ahead, put it away so you won't need it anymore. And open up your Springboard to page 180. Take those 2 running targets, use them. All right, so this activity, we're going to be looking at 2 practical concepts here. First, you folks are going to be summarizing information about the Holocaust. And second, you're going to create talking points so that tomorrow you can deliver an effective presentation. All right, now right below those running targets, we have this step 1, which you've already answered. It was your in question. So you don't need to rewrite it. We'll just kind of quick go over it. Why exactly is it especially important to establish an appropriate setting for a Holocaust narrative? Why might it be important to have precise time frames, precise places? Yes, sorry, Dupree.
Because it gives you a vision on how long ago it happened in the last person.
Okay, an idea, a vision of when and where it happened? Yeah.
Since it's nonfiction, you want to be a credible source.
Good. Because it's based on nonfiction, you want your possible piece that could be fictionalized to be credible and use credible sources. That's all good stuff. Now, the bottom of page 180 is actually something we're going to put into our raw notebook. So instead, focus your attention on 181. And at the top, we've got this step 4. Jacob, could you read number 4 for us? All right, so that giant chart, there's 5 topics, and we have 5 groups. So tomorrow we're going to do presentations about Nazi rule, Jews in pre-war Germany, the final solution, the Nazi camp system, and rescuing resistance. Each one of your groups is going to be assigned one of those columns, and each member is going to be responsible for one of those bullet points to present. So let me first let you guys know who has which topic to present. So once you hear your discussion leader's name, box in that entire column and make it stand out. So Michael and Jordan, your group is going to be researching Nazi rule. Victoria Dupree, your group is going to be researching Jews during pre-war Germany. Jackie, your group is going to be researching rescue and resistance. Christian, your group will be researching the final solution. And Joshua, your group will be researching the Nazi camps. All right, next step is to get you folks prepped to gather this research so that you have something to present. So one notebook again. This is going to be our 8th entry, and we're going to title it Exploring the Museum. All right, once you've got your table of contents set up, the entry page today is only going to be one page, not going to be multiple. And I'm going to have you go ahead and turn your notebook horizontally. And we've got a little bit more room to work with. At the top, we're going to go ahead and write down personal notes, since you folks are taking notes on specific subtopics. And right below that, you folks are going to be writing your notes into a 3-row, 2-column chart. It's going to take up the entire page and look like that. Notice that really top row, the first one, it's super thin. You do not need a lot of space. Reserve plenty of space for the second and the third row. That's what should take up a majority of your page. All right, now next page is going to look exactly the same. The chart's just blown up, and it's telling you what exactly you're going to be writing in there. Your discussion leader was given a stack of index cards that were paper clipped together. So I want that leader to go ahead, once they've got their chart done, to issue an index card for each person in the group. If you have an uneven number, meaning there's one person or 2 people that don't have a card, that is because one of your cards might be written as a 2-person or a 3-person card. All right. Once you do have an index card, let's first and foremost kind of set up that top row. That's really easy. The top row for topic, you need to write down the topic that your group is presenting and your specified subtopic. So if you take a look at your index card, find the highlighted information. Each one of you is presenting the same exact topic, but each one of you has a separate subtopic. That's what you're going to be writing down in that topic line, so highlighted info. And I'm going to give you folks about 12, 13 minutes. What you want to do is you want to complete that second and third row as much as you can. If you don't get it done in that time, don't freak out. It's not that the class period is done, but I'm just going to move you to the next step. So that middle row, you're supposed to list key events or details about your subtopic. So it's like you're taking notes. And the third row, it says that you need to write word for word exactly what you plan on saying for the presentation. So kind of like your script. You don't need to have it memorized, but know what you're going to be talking about. Make sure that you are not copying information directly from the card. Because if that's what we're going to be listening to, isn't that going to be dull and kind of droll? Probably people aren't going to tune in so clearly. So you might want to take that information, put it in your own words. That way folks understand it. Okay? So about 12, 13 minutes, you're just gathering your own separate information. And when that time is up, then we're going to move on to our collaborative part of the day. All right, go ahead. Let me know if you got any questions. All right, let's go ahead and get you folks to that next step. If you don't have everything written out yet, don't freak out. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But I do want to get you into that mode so you can start getting an idea of how your presentation is going to come about, okay? So next step is for you to actually talk with your group. Now, you don't necessarily have to share the information you learned, but what you want to do is get a general idea and feel of who's going to be speaking, when are they going to be speaking, all right? So this slide is pretty much telling you all the goods that you need to have. Probably the most important piece, all the way at the bottom, red text, it tells you what is the time allotment. It's about 6 to 7 minutes for the entire group. So each person in your group should speak about 1 to 1.5 minutes. Okay, so nothing that's too terribly long. All right, now the next slide I'm going to show you is what you folks are going to get from me as a handout, this yellow piece. This is what you're going to be filling in as your presentation outline of who will go first, what are they presenting, who will go second, what are they presenting, so on and so forth. All right? Now, if you have 2 people that are bridge builders, 2 people that are diction detectives, which will happen, or 2 people that are leaders, they're just going to go one at a time and present their information. All right? So let me go ahead and hand out the little yellow handout to you folks. And the rest of the time is really get an idea of how is this presentation going to go, practice reading aloud, make sure that you folks feel comfortable with what you're doing. All right, go ahead.